The vast emptiness of space stretched before the Earth exploration ship horizon. Captain Jack Miller stood on the bridge, his weathered face illuminated by the glow of control panels. The ship had been mapping the outer regions of the Orion Arm for 3 months, and the crew was eager to return home. "Captain, I'm picking up something strange," said Tom, the sensor operator. His fingers moved quickly across the screen. "It's big, and it's not on any of our charts." Jack walked over to look at the readings. "Natural formation." "No, sir. It's moving. Barely, but definitely moving." Jack ordered the ship to change course. As they approached the mysterious object, everyone on the bridge fell silent. Through the main viewport, they saw it, a massive vessel unlike anything humans had built. It floated silently against the backdrop of stars, its dark hull reflecting no light except where enormous gashes revealed sparking systems within. "It's huge," whispered Lisa, the navigation officer. "Must be at least 2 miles long." The alien ship's design defied human engineering logic. It had no visible engines, no clear front or back. Instead, it seemed to flow like frozen liquid, with curves and spirals that hurt the eyes if you looked too long. "Life signs?" Jack asked. Tom shook his head. "Nothing we can detect, but there's energy running through that thing. Very weak, but it's there." Jack made his decision quickly. "Prepare a boarding team. I want to know what that thing is and where it came from." 6 hours later, Jack led a team of 5 through the dark corridors of the alien vessel. Their suit lights cast eerie shadows on walls that seemed to absorb rather than reflect light. The air was thin but breathable, suggesting life support systems still functioned at minimal levels. "Look at this," said Ben, the team's engineer, pointing to writing etched into a wall. Some kind of language. The symbols shifted slightly as they watched, seeming to rearrange themselves. "It's responding to us," said Maria, the xenobiologist. "I think it's trying to communicate." They continued deeper into the ship, finding rooms filled with technology beyond human understanding. Strange crystals pulsed with inner light. Flowing liquid metal formed and reformed into different shapes. In what appeared to be the central chamber, they found it. A containment pod holding a being unlike any they had seen before. It floated in clear fluid, its body long and slender with multiple limbs that ended in delicate, finger-like appendages. Its skin shimmered with patterns that seemed to move across its surface. "Is it alive?" Jack asked, approaching the pod carefully. As if in response, the alien's eyes opened, 3 large orbs that glowed with inner light. The ship around them hummed louder, and the lights grew brighter. "I think the ship and this being are connected somehow," Maria said, scanning the pod with her instruments. The aliens' thoughts suddenly pushed into their minds. Not words, but images and feelings. It showed them stars exploding, planets burning, and vast fleets of angular, threatening ships spreading across the galaxy. Then it showed them the ship they stood in, once powerful but now broken, fleeing from destruction. "It's asking for help," Jack said, understanding the message. "It's the last of its kind." When they returned to the horizon, Jack called an emergency meeting with his officers. "That ship out there contains technology centuries beyond ours. Its pilot is dying, and with it, knowledge that could save humanity from the same fate as its civilization." He looked at each of them in turn. "Earth needs this ship, and this ship needs us. I'm proposing we do something that's never been attempted, merge human and alien technology to restore that vessel." Little did they know that this decision would change the course of humanity's future among the stars forever. The Earth ship Horizon established a permanent link with the alien vessel. Engineers built an airlock tunnel connecting the 2 ships, allowing teams to move back and forth more easily. Captain Jack spent hours each day inside the strange craft, trying to understand its systems. "The alien's condition is getting worse," said Dr. Maria as she checked readings on the containment pod. "Whatever keeps it alive is failing." The alien being, which the crew had started calling Velex after symbols found near its pod, continued sending images into their minds. It showed them how the ship worked, but many concepts were too alien to grasp. It's like trying to explain color to someone who's been blind their whole life, Ben said, frustrated after another failed attempt to restart one of the ship's main systems. On the fifth day, Jack arrived in the central chamber to find Maria waving him over urgently. Something's changing. The fluid in Velix's pod was draining, and the pod itself was opening. The alien's slender body moved for the first time, unfolding limbs that had been curled around its torso. "Should we stop it?" asked Tom, reaching for his weapon. "No," Jack said. "I think this is supposed to happen." Velix emerged from the pod slowly. Standing upright, it was nearly 7 feet tall. Its 3 eyes focused on Jack, and suddenly the mental images became clearer, more directed. "It wants to show us something," Jack said. He followed as Velix glided across the floor toward a previously unexplored section of the ship. They entered a vast chamber filled with what looked like sleeping pods, hundreds of them arranged in circles around a central platform. All were empty and dark except one, which glowed with faint blue light. Velix moved to this pod and placed 3 of its limbs on the surface. The room came alive with holographic displays showing star systems and fleets of ships. The images focused on one particular fleet, angular, black vessels that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. The hunters, Jack understood from Velix's mental communication. They destroy everything they find. More images followed. Velix's species, the Lumari, fighting the hunters across dozens of star systems. The Lumari's beautiful spiral ships were technological marvels, but the hunters had numbers. World after world fell. This ship was their last hope, Jack said aloud, piecing together the story. A weapon or technology that could turn the tide. Velix confirmed this with a series of gentle pulses in their minds. Then came sadness so profound that several crew members gasped. The Lumari homeworld, burning. The last ships fleeing. This vessel, the Starweaver, damaged and drifting, most of its crew dead. "But why come to our part of space?" asked Maria. The answer came in a flood of images. Velix's people had been watching Earth for centuries. They saw something in humans that they valued: adaptability, creativity, determination. Velix guided Jack's hand to the glowing pod. When he touched it, the ship's lights brightened momentarily. A wave of understanding passed through him. "This is a neural interface," he explained to the others. "The ship is partly alive. It bonds with its crew. That's how they control all this advanced technology." Velix's mental voice became clearer. "Dying. Ship dying. I dying. Last of Lumari. What can we do?" Jack asked. Velix touched the interface pod again, then reached out and placed a slender limb on Jack's chest. The meaning was clear. "It wants us to take over the ship," Jack said, "to bond with it like the Lumari did." "Is that even possible?" Ben asked. "Our brains are completely different." "The ship can adapt," Jack said, understanding Velix's thoughts. "But it needs energy, repairs, and a new crew willing to learn how to use it." Velix's 3 eyes looked at each human in turn. One final, powerful message filled their minds. The hunters were coming. They had followed the Starweaver's energy trail across the stars. Earth would be next. Jack faced his crew. "We have a choice to make. Try to fix this alien ship and use it to defend Earth, or run home and hope we have time to prepare." No one needed to vote. They all knew what had to be done. 2 weeks passed since the Earth crew decided to help Velix restore the Starweaver. Progress was slow and frustrating. Human tools often broke when used on the strange alien materials, and even when they managed to fix something, new problems appeared elsewhere. "It's like trying to patch a leaking dam with Band-Aids," Ben said, wiping sweat from his forehead. He had just spent 6 hours repairing what they thought was a power conduit, only to discover it was actually part of the ship's waste recycling system. Jack called a meeting in what they now used as a command center. a large circular room where Velex could project images into the air to help explain the ship's systems. The alien stood in the center, its tall form now noticeably weaker than before. Its skin, once shimmering with patterns of light, had grown dull. "We need to face facts," Jack said to his gathered team. "At our current rate, we won't have this ship operational before Velex dies. And once that happens, we lose our only guide." Maria checked her tablet. "The energy readings from Velex's body are dropping every day. I'd estimate 2 more weeks at most." The alien raised several limbs and projected a new image, a map of nearby space with a red dot moving slowly toward their position. "What's that?" Tom asked. "Hunter scout ship," Jack translated from Velex's mental communication. "First wave. Searching." The room fell silent. The threat was no longer theoretical, it was approaching. "How long until it reaches us?" Jack asked. Velex projected numbers that Maria quickly converted. 3 weeks if it maintains current speed. Jack paced the room, thinking. We need a new approach. Trying to fix everything the Lumari way isn't working. Ben stood up excitedly. What if we don't try to make it exactly like it was? What if we use human technology to bridge the gaps? That might work, Tom said, warming to the idea. The ship's main systems are still mostly intact. It's the connections between them that are damaged. Velex, would that be possible? Jack asked. Could your ship accept our technology? The alien was still for a long moment. Finally, it projected an image of the Starweaver with human components added to its structure, ugly but functional patches on its beautiful design. The sense of reluctance was clear in its mental tone, but also resignation. Better ugly than dead, Jack said, understanding the alien's feelings. If it works, we can refine it later. With a new plan in place, Jack contacted Earth Command. The Horizon's long-range communication system crackled with static as Admiral Lewis appeared on screen. You want us to send what? The Admiral asked incredulously after hearing Jack's request. Everything on the list, sir, Jack replied firmly. Power cells, computers, weapons systems, and engineers who can think outside the box. Captain, you're asking me to strip half our orbital defense platforms based on the word of an alien we know nothing about. With respect, sir, we don't have time for debate. The hunters are coming, and this ship is our best chance. The Admiral's face hardened. And if I refuse? Jack looked directly into the camera. Then I suggest you start evacuating Earth, sir, because from what Velex has shown us, nothing we have will stop the hunters once they arrive in force. After a tense silence, the Admiral nodded. I'll send what I can. But this is on your head, Captain. When the transmission ended, Jack turned to find Velex watching him. We'll fight for your world, the alien communicated. Last duty. Jack nodded. And we'll fight for yours. Your people may be gone, but their legacy will live on through this ship. For the first time, something like hope flickered in Velex's thoughts. The alien reached out and touched the neural interface pod, activating a dormant system. Around them, lights brightened as the ship responded. What did you do? Jack asked. Ship knows now, Velex answered. Accepts new path. Accepts humans. The real work was about to begin. Earth Command supply ships arrived 5 days later, bringing crates of equipment and a team of 30 specialists. The new arrivals stared in wonder at the massive alien vessel as they boarded, many of them touching its strange surfaces with a mix of fear and excitement. It's beautiful, whispered Dr. Laura Reed, Earth's leading expert on experimental power systems. Even damage, you can see how advanced it is. Jack wasted no time putting everyone to work. Teams spread throughout the Starweaver, each focusing on different systems. Human computers were connected to alien interfaces. Earth power cells were installed alongside Lumari energy crystals. Mismatched components were forced to work together through creative engineering and sheer determination. Velex moved between the teams, growing weaker each day but still providing crucial guidance. The aliens seemed particularly interested in the weapons installation, where Earth's most powerful laser cannons looked like children's toys compared to what the Starweaver once carried. Not enough. Velix communicated to Jack as they watched the installation. Hunter's shields too strong. These are the best we have, Jack replied, frustrated. Velix placed a limb on one of the Earth cannons, then extended another limb toward a damaged Lumari weapon array. An image formed in Jack's mind. The two systems combined, human power source feeding the alien technology. Is that possible? Jack asked, hope rising. Difficult. Need. Adapter. Then worked for 2 days straight to create what Velix described. The resulting device was ugly, a mess of wires and crystals forced into cooperation. But when they tested it, the power readings were beyond anything humans had achieved before. It works. Ben shouted as the hybrid weapon system came online. We've got 5 times the output of our best military ships. Other breakthroughs followed. Maria discovered that human neural patterns could indeed interface with the ship's systems, though not as completely as the Lumari had. Laura found a way to boost the ship's failing power core using fusion reactors. Tom reprogrammed the navigation systems to work with human controls. Each success brought the ship closer to functionality, but also highlighted how much was still broken. And Velix continued to weaken. One night, Jack found the alien in the central chamber, its body slumped against the neural interface pod. You need to rest, Jack said. No time, came the faint reply in his mind. Hunter Scout, coming faster now. Jack checked the ship's sensors. The alien was right. The Hunter vessel had increased speed. It would reach them in just 6 days. We need more time, Jack said. Velix straightened with visible effort. One solution. Must show you. The alien led Jack deeper into the ship than they had explored before. They entered a chamber that hummed with power, one of the few systems that had never completely failed. In the center stood a crystal pillar filled with swirling light. As Jack watched, the light formed patterns similar to the ones that had once moved across Velix's skin. What is this? Jack asked, though he suspected the answer. Ship's heart, Velix explained. And my future home. Understanding dawned on Jack. You're going to merge with the ship. Yes, body failing, but mind can join with ship's systems, can guide you better, can teach faster. Will you survive the process? Velix's thoughts carried a complex emotion, not quite sadness, not quite acceptance, not as individual. Become part of ship. Memories remain. Knowledge remains. There's no other way, Jack asked. No time, Velix repeated. Choice is made. The next day, the entire crew gathered as Velix prepared for the transfer. The alien touched each human with a gentle limb, a goodbye. When it came to Jack, Velix's thoughts were clear. Make ship live again. Save your people. Remember mine. Velix stepped into the crystal pillar, its body dissolving into light. The ship trembled as energy surged through every system. Displays flickered on across the vessel. Dormant sections hummed with renewed power. And in every human's mind, a familiar presence touched their thoughts. Velix, now one with the Starweaver, ready to fight one last battle for a species not its own. The Starweaver came alive in ways no one expected after Velix merged with the ship's systems. Corridors that had been dark for centuries now glowed with soft blue light. Doors opened automatically as humans approached. The ship seemed to anticipate their needs, adjusting temperature and oxygen levels for comfort. It's like the ship knows what we want before we do, Laura said as she worked at a newly functioning control panel. Jack felt the change most strongly. Since Velix's merging, he could sense the ship's systems in his mind. Not clearly, but like shadows at the edge of vision. When he touched the neural interface pod, the connection became stronger. I can feel it, he told Maria during a test of the interface. Not just data. It's alive. 3 days remained before the Hunter Scout ship would arrive. The crew worked around the clock, pushing themselves to exhaustion. The Starweaver was operational now, but nobody knew if it would be enough. On the morning of the third day, Jack called everyone to the command center. Tired faces looked back at him, waiting for his words. "We've done something impossible," he began. "In 3 weeks, we've restored an alien ship using technology never meant to work together. We've given the Starweaver a second life." He pointed to the main display showing the approaching hunter vessel. "That ship out there is just a scout. But it's our first test. If we can defeat it, we prove that our hybrid approach works. If we fail..." He didn't need to finish the thought. Everyone knew what failure meant. "The neural interface is our biggest weakness," Maria reported. "None of us can connect fully with the ship's systems like the Lumari could." Jack had been thinking about this problem for days. What if we don't try to connect like they did? What if we do it our way? Ben understood first. Multiple limited connections instead of one complete one. "Exactly," Jack said. 5 of us link partially to the ship, each focusing on different systems. They selected the team quickly. Jack would handle navigation. Tom took weapons. Laura managed power systems. Ben controlled damage control, and Maria monitored the ship's living systems, the parts that had once been Velex. As each person connected to their station, they felt the presence that had been Velex guiding them, teaching them shortcuts, helping them understand the alien technology through images and feelings rather than words. "This is incredible," Tom said, his eyes closed as he mentally aimed the weapon systems. "It's like having an expert looking over my shoulder." The transformation of the ship was complete. Where Lumari elegance once reigned, now human practicality had been grafted on. Earth computer screens sat beside alien crystal displays. Thick power cables connected to delicate Lumari systems. It wasn't pretty, but it worked. The Hunter Scout ship came into visual range on the final day. It was smaller than the Starweaver, but sleek and dangerous, its black hull seeming to bend light around it. "They're scanning us," Tom reported. "They've definitely seen us." A message appeared on the main screen, strange angular symbols that the ship automatically translated. "Lumari vessel. Surrender for salvage or be destroyed." Jack felt a surge of emotion from the ship itself. Not quite anger, not quite determination, but something between them. Velex's memories of the Hunter's destruction gave the message added weight. "Battle stations," Jack ordered. "Let's show them what happens when human ingenuity meets Lumari technology." As the crew took their positions and connected to the neural interfaces, the Starweaver changed again. The lights dimmed to a combat-ready glow. New systems came online that they hadn't even known existed. The ship's engines hummed with power far beyond what their tests had shown. "What's happening?" Laura asked, monitoring the power readings. "We're seeing energy levels double what we expected." In everyone's mind, Velex's presence grew stronger. The ship was channeling the last of the alien's life force, preparing for battle. "The ship is protecting us," Jack realized. "It's giving everything it has." As the Hunter vessel approached firing range, the Starweaver began to move with a grace that belied its patchwork nature. The first real test of humanity's greatest salvage operation was about to begin. The Hunter ship fired first. A beam of dark energy sliced through space toward the Starweaver, moving faster than any human weapon could track. "Brace," Jack shouted, but the warning was unnecessary. The Starweaver moved on its own, shifting sideways with impossible speed. The Hunter's beam missed by meters. Through the neural link, Jack felt the ship's satisfaction at the successful evasion. "How did it do that?" Maria asked, her eyes wide. "Velex is predicting their attacks," Jack replied, understanding flowing through the link. "The Lumari fought these enemies for years. The ship remembers their patterns." Tom grinned as he connected more deeply with the weapons systems. "Let's see how they like our patterns." He fired the hybrid weapons Ben had created, beams of energy, half Earth technology, half Lumari design, lanced toward the Hunter vessel. The enemy ship tried to dodge, but Tom anticipated the movement. leading the target like a hunter tracking prey. The beams struck the hunter ship's shields. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then cracks of light appeared across the black surface as the shields began to fail. "It's working," Laura shouted, monitoring the power output. "The hybrid weapons are breaking through their defenses." The hunter ship recovered quickly, changing tactics. It released a swarm of small attack drones that raced toward the Starweaver from multiple directions. "Too many to dodge," Jack said, feeling the ship's concern through the link. Ben's voice came through the comm system. "I have an idea. Laura, can you divert power to the outer hull?" "Doing it now," she replied. Ben had discovered that the Starweaver's hull contained microscopic defense systems, millions of tiny energy projectors that had once formed an impenetrable barrier around the ship. They had been dormant due to lack of power, but with Laura's redirection of energy, they flickered back to life. As the hunter drones approached, the Starweaver's hull glowed blue. Thousands of tiny energy bursts erupted from the surface, intercepting the drones and destroying them in a spectacular display. "Yes," Ben shouted, pumping his fist. "That's human ingenuity right there." The hunter ship paused its attack, seemingly reassessing the situation. It had clearly expected an easy victory against a damaged Lumari vessel, not this revitalized hybrid fighter. Jack felt a warning through the neural link. "They're powering up something big. All power to shields. Now." The hunter ship's front section split open, revealing a massive energy cannon. It fired a concentrated beam of destructive force that made their previous attacks look like toys. The Starweaver's shields held, barely. The impact sent tremors through the entire ship and overloaded several human-designed power relays. "Damage report," Jack called. "3 sections without power," Ben reported. "Self-repair systems working but slow. We can't take another hit like that." Jack reached deeper into the neural link, seeking Velix's knowledge. There must be a weakness, something the Lumari discovered. Images flowed into his mind. Battle records from ancient Lumari conflicts. He saw hunter ships exploding, their reactor cores destabilized by precisely targeted strikes. "Tom," Jack said, "I need you to hit them exactly where I show you." Through the neural link, Jack shared the target location, a seemingly insignificant junction on the hunter ship's underside, where cooling systems met power distribution. Tom adjusted the weapons. "Ready." "Laura, we need everything the power core can give us. Just for one shot." Laura's hands flew across her controls. "You've got it, but the hybrid systems might burn out." "One shot is all we need," Jack said, confidence flowing through him. Part his own, part Velix's centuries of experience. The Starweaver surged forward, taking the hunter ship by surprise. Tom fired at the exact moment they passed beneath the enemy vessel. The hybrid weapons struck with perfect precision. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a cascade of explosions ripped through the hunter ship from the inside out. Its sleek black hull bulged and cracked as internal systems failed catastrophically. "We did it," Tom shouted as the hunter ship broke apart, its remains drifting harmlessly away from the Starweaver. The victory was sweet but temporary. Through the neural link, Jack sensed Velix's warning. More hunters would come looking for their scout. This was just the beginning. As repair teams worked to fix the battle damage, Jack stood alone in the command center, feeling the ship's presence around him. "Thank you," he said aloud, knowing Velix could hear him. "We couldn't have done this without you." The lights pulsed once in acknowledgement. The broken alien vessel had proven itself in battle, thanks to the unique combination of Lumari technology and human determination. Earth now had a defender like none before. A council member leaned forward. "Why would they help Earth? They don't know us." Jack smiled slightly. "They know what we did." News of the scout ship's destruction has spread. A hunter vessel, defeated by a ship they thought was dead. It's given them hope. He touched a panel, and a new image appeared, a recording of the Starweaver flying alongside 3 smaller vessels of clearly alien design. "These are our new allies from the Trilok system," Jack explained. "They arrived yesterday. 2 more fleets will join us next week." The Admiral studied the image. "So your plan is to build a coalition?" "Yes, sir. The hunters have always won by isolating their targets. They've never faced united resistance." "And the Starweaver?" another council member asked. "Will lead the fleet," Jack answered. "It has become something new, not just Lumeri technology fixed by humans, but a true blending of both. The hunters won't know how to fight it." As if responding to his words, the ship's lights pulsed softly. Through the neural link, Jack felt Velex's presence, fainter now than months ago, but still there, integrated into the ship's core systems. After the council meeting ended, Jack returned to the observation deck. Earth was visible through the large viewport, beautiful and blue against the blackness of space. The ship they had found broken and dying now stood as its guardian. Ben joined him, looking at the planet below. "Do you think we can win?" Jack touched a wall panel, feeling the ship's energy hum beneath his fingers. "The hunters have technology and numbers, but they don't understand what they're facing now." "What's that?" Ben asked. "Hope," Jack said simply. "They broke the Lumari by taking away their hope. But humans, we're stubborn. We find hope in the darkest places, and now we shared that with other worlds." The Starweaver's engines glowed brighter as it moved into position to meet the arriving alien allies. What had begun as a desperate salvage operation had become something more significant, the beginning of the first true interstellar alliance, born from the union of a broken alien vessel and human determination. As stars streaked past the viewport, Jack felt the ship's satisfaction. The last Lumari vessel, once nearly dead in the void, had found new purpose. And with humanity's help, it had become the galaxy's strongest ship, not through power alone, but through what it represented. Different species working together, finding strength in their differences rather than weakness. The hunters were coming, but this time they would face something they had never encountered before. This time, they would not find easy prey, but a united force ready to fight for their shared future among the stars.